I'm personally curious if you can share some maybe flaws or mistakes that you've made, or maybe mistakes that you've seen people make when investing out of town.
The biggest issue that I tend to find for out of town investors, including myself, is your team. They are instrumental in making sure that your business or your real estate transaction is going to do well. You may acquire right. They've may gone to both of you guys and get fantastic terms when it comes to mortgages and great interest rates and great payments. But at the end of the day, once the acquisition is done, the real work actually begins. And it's to make sure that your tenants are being managed appropriately, your property is being managed appropriately, property managers not being taking advantage of you. So I kind of shared a story like this with Savvy, and I'm not sure if I've shared this with you guys as well in my past, but one of my very first transactions that I had, I hired a property manager in Edmonton, and guess what? Things seemed to be going well. Rent was coming in every single month. It's going into my account every single month. Cash flow's coming in. I'm doing great. Hey, perfect. Everything must be good. I didn't go out to see that property for about a year and a half. And so I went out to go take a look and do an inspection of some of my other properties and knocked on the door on the property with my property manager. You had problems right away when my property manager actually introduced himself to the tenant as well. And so the door opens up and the smell coming out of this house was atrocious. Absolutely. I can't even tell you. And then we walk in and it was, you've probably seen the show Hoarders, right? You've seen all the pretty much it. You walk in and out and it was a disaster. And it was just a small townhouse, nothing big, right? And I'm like, oh my God. And it wasn't that it was super thrashed. It was just a mess, an absolute mess. And I couldn't, so we looked at the property and we're like, something is missing. Where's this smell coming from? And it wasn't until we walked downstairs in the basement where the tenants had a puppy mill running in a townhouse downstairs in a 3-bedroom, 1.5-bath townhouse. Part of our agreement that we have in place is that, they're supposed to go into the property every 6 months to go take a look and do an inspection. Now, technically, you would think it would be, I'd be blaming the property manager on there, but that's not his fault. Actually, it's my fault for not ensuring that work that he was actually following through and making sure that he was accountable to his job. And so the other part is, one of the things I preach is, if you're investing in other markets or different markets, you should budget in your analysis that you're getting out to see your property at, roughly every 6 months. That's my honest opinion. And so this way you're ensuring that your team is doing their job responsibly. But here's the fun thing about COVID, it's changed the way we do our business. And with these fancy little gadgets that we have, virtual inspections is becoming a much more common theme. And so right now I'm doing virtual inspections with a lot of our properties right now with individuals. I'm literally walking through suite by suite, bedroom by bedroom, and doing visual inspections. So guess what? I'm here locally. I can do this literally across the country and still have that same visibility as I did before, but I don't no longer have to travel. Technology's really changed. So I think the important part, and to kind of go back, finding your investment team is extremely crucial. And I always reference that it's like hiring an employee. You need to find the right fit, good credentials, right person. And at the end of the day, as we've all known, if we've ever hired somebody, it's not always guaranteed. So you always need to have backups just in case. So you want to be making sure that your team is solid and just unbelievable. And then at the same time, you just never know. Maybe, Derek, you don't want to be a mortgage broker anymore because you've made so much money or whatever the situation is. But the reality is, you know what? You may now all of a sudden be working with Alex, and you just need to find that other replacement. No offense, Alex and Derek are fantastic people. But the reality is, you always want to have those backups, especially when it comes to your management. That was a big lesson for me. Cost me a lot of money, but I learned from that, and I made sure that those systems are in place moving forward and just constantly adapt. And that's the one thing about real estate, as you guys are well aware in the financing world. Things are always changing. Things are always evolving. Things are always happening. And you just kind of have to roll with this, and you just have to adjust. And it's not always going to be perfect. But as long as you're staying on top of this with your systems and building the right people, connecting with the right people, it will be fine. It will be good. And that's the key aspect. But if you're just burying your head in the sand, that's where problems are going to start to arise.